So before I start my review, I'm going to talk about my two biggest pet peeves with the film industry at the moment. And that is A, misleading marketing, and B, trying to set up a sequel for a film instead of focusing on the film that you are making. Unfortunately, this movie does both. Basically, if you are expecting a war film, you'll be disappointed as that's not the case at all. I do love the movie, but as it's more of a character study as opposed to a war film, it unfortunately hindered my experience and my enjoyment of the film. Basically, this film should have been called Prisoners for the War for the Planet of the Apes. So let's start this review. The first third of this movie is a cinematic masterpiece. Basically, if you're a cinephile in any way or a lover of old-fashioned filmmaking, you must see this movie at the cinemas. The movie not only pays homage to the original 60s, but it's also a homage to 60s filmmaking. Everything from the title card, the camera work, the score, even the pacing will give you this throbbing erection of the days of Dr. Zhivago, Lawrence of Arabia, and Hobson's Choice. So I'm going to start off with the score. Now this score was absolutely fantastic. Now I liked Michael Giacchino before. I thought his Rogue One soundtrack was actually pretty good. But after seeing this movie and listening to this piece of music that he created, I will literally be so happy with any single soundtrack that he does going forward. I just love the score to this so much. It was thrilling and it was exciting, and I still can't get the themes out of my head. I recommend any film score fan to definitely go out and buy this soundtrack immediately. Unfortunately, this movie is not without fault, and unfortunately, they're all Mark Bombach's fault. The script of this movie is absolutely not on par with The Rise of the Planet of the Apes or Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and it lets the film down dramatically. It basically turns into Cliché City. In fact, I can't believe no one picked up on the horrible script in pre-production, post-production, even during principal photography. I can't believe no one went up to Matt Reeves and just whispered in his ear just how bad the script to this movie is. But unfortunately, that has a trickle-down effect for Woody Harrelson's character, which really suffers at how poor this script is. The secret to a great villain is one that we can understand and agree with, but Woody Harrelson's Colonel has such a logical flaw in the movie, and with his tactical decision, it was such a huge issue that it actually took me out of the movie with just how idiotic it was. To be honest, what it felt like was this flaw was only set up to serve and progress the story, not the actual character, and I'm in shock with how bad this flaw was and how much it did actually let the movie down. But that's the issue with script writing. The first act is easy, the second and third act are really hard to write, but at the end of the day, that's what kind of separates the amateur filmmakers or scriptwriters with real professionals working in the industry today. I really did feel like the apes in this movie were basically just recreating moments of human oppression, but except in this case using motion capture, which I kind of expected a little bit more, seeing as though Dawn was such a tour de force in filmmaking. As always, the visuals and the acting in this movie is absolutely top notch, and I really did believe the chemistry between the apes, and of course I sympathise with Andy Serkis's Caesar. In the first third of this movie, there's this absolutely phenomenal green laser sequence that is just a masterful work in visual storytelling, and the kind of work that's usually reserved for animation. It just completely blew me away. Maurice is once again my favourite ape, but coming to a close second is actually Steve Zahn's chimp character that you see in the trailer. It really surprised me how easy he was to be able to transition from comedic relief to some really touching moments, and I really didn't expect the amount of nuance from such a cookie-cutter supporting character. There is this one line in the movie that Andy Serkis says, and it's just this simple line of "leave him." It's about halfway through the movie, but it's so powerful, and it brings up the question once again, why the fuck doesn't Andy Serkis have an Oscar yet? Seriously, if he does not receive at least one nomination for the work that he's done in this trilogy, I'll go absolutely apeshit. The small quiet moments in this movie were absolutely my favourite, and it really shows how much great work the actors do in this movie. To finish off this review, it was a little bit of a letdown, basically just because of the mismarketing and the script dilemmas, but it's still a worthy film to see at the cinemas if you have liked the previous installments. But please be prepared that it's not going to be this giant war epic as promised from the marketing and the final 10 minutes of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. All faults aside, I still really loved the movie. Did you enjoy War for the Planet of the Apes? What franchises would you like to see rebooted? Let me know in the comments below. As always, if you like this video and you want to see more, please click here to see more. Thanks for watching. Bye.